The oil pump is a gerotor design and is driven by a steel gear on the crankshaft. The pump body and gear cover are cast aluminum and the gerotor cover is cast iron. A baffle is used to minimize oil splash and foaming at high engine speeds. The pump itself is not serviceable and must be replaced when necessary. To check the condition of the oil pump, first measure the gear tip clearance, then check the outer gear to bore clearance. Finally, check the pocket depth. The pump should also be inspected for scoring on the cover, outer and inner gear, and the pocket. Always refer to the service manual for the specifications of these components. If a new pump drive gear, crankshaft, or engine block is installed, check the oil pump drive backlash using a dial indicator. Without moving the crankshaft, move the oil pump gear to read the backlash. If the proper clearance cannot be obtained, replace the oil pump assembly. If the oil pressure relief valve shows signs of physical damage, it must be replaced. To remove the valve, cut off the top using side cutters. Pry out the remaining bottom half of the valve with a screwdriver. Do not remove the drive gear or shaft. Clean all parts in solvent to remove varnish, sludge, and dirt. Seat a new pressure relief valve using a 9/16" deep well socket. Here is the path of oil through the high output quad 4. Oil is drawn by the pump from the pan through an inlet screen. The pump is equipped with a pressure relief valve that limits pressure to a predetermined level. The pump supplies oil under pressure to the oil filter. There is a filter bypass which causes oil to flow directly to the engine should the filter be restricted. Normally, oil flows from the filter to the main oil gallery in the engine block. Oil under pressure is also carried to the timing chain tensioner assembly and the main bearings. The crankshaft mains are cross-drilled and the upper bearing inserts are slotted to provide continuous oil flow to the connecting rod bearings. Pressurized oil then flows through a check valve in the cylinder block, through the cylinder head to the oil galleries in the camshaft housings. These galleries supply oil to the lifters and the camshaft bearings. There is an oil pressure sending unit located in the end of the exhaust camshaft housing oil gallery to operate the gauge in the instrument panel. In order to access the rear crankshaft seal, the transaxle must be separated and lowered from the engine. Remove the transaxle and flywheel following the service manual procedure. It is now possible to remove the crankshaft seal housing and gasket. The seal can be removed from the housing using suitable tools. Be careful not to scratch the seal housing. Use the rear main seal installer to insert a new seal into the housing. Different length transaxle to cylinder block mounting bolts are used on this engine. The bolt installed at this location should be 43.5 millimeters long. Installation of a longer bolt in this position could crack the water jacket. Now the housing can be reinstalled onto the block. Start by cleaning the surfaces thoroughly. Apply RTV to the oil pan engine block rear seal housing junction. Be sure to use a new gasket. And then fasten the cover in place. The flywheel and pressure plate are matched for proper balance. When disassembling these components, notice the paint dot on the pressure plate and the X marked on the flywheel outside the pressure plate area. If the pressure plate mark cannot be found, mark the flywheel to pressure plate position before disassembly. This assures proper alignment when reassembled and prevents engine vibration and damage.